Have you ever been like me, where there's just been one weapon you just want to rush, and then take it to Margot and try to stick it to him with it? Well, let's go get that black knife. So, we're going to start with a pressure count. I'm using the astrologer, so we're going through the ruin-strewed precipice, instead of getting the medallions from the two forts. So first off, we're just going to head out and go to the gate front to pick up Torrent, grab the graces along the way, just follow the map. After Torrent, we sort of want to come back to that first grace, hence why we grabbed it. And this time we're going to go grab the chest in the little lake to your right, and that's going to take you straight to Kllooooyy. In Kllooooyy, we want to pick up our meteorite staff and the spell rock sling. So they're very useful for dealing with the magma worm inside the cave in the route we're taking. So you just want to head over to the Sage Ruins, grab the rock sling from the chest down here, and then head over to the other broken tower to pick up the meteorite staff. They're not too hard to find, just look around a bit. And after that, we're just going to run to the nearby grace on the shoreline, and we're going to start making our way through Lake Lunaria. So this is going to be quite the run, just using Torrent. You can run straight through, you just follow the water path. So if you look on your map, or on this map for instance, there's a little divide between the lift and the little major area. So we're just going to run all the way there, a bit tedious, and you just want to make your way through the ruins through precipice, however you pronounce it. It's pretty easy, just run through. There's not a lot of mobs that aggro you straight away. The only annoying ones are the bats up here. If you just want to dodge and duck around them, as long as you're quick enough, you can get through. You can always take it slow and kill them. I'm just doing this for speed's sake. Grab the grace, and now we go take on the magma worm. They're fairly easy. You want to probably allocate all the flasks to mana regen. You can leave one just as a safety thing, and then head to the boss. It's pretty simple, just keep your distance, use rock sling, should stagger him every now and then. The only real attack you need to avoid is when he's charging at you. Just want to make sure you avoid his hitbox because it's quite big. Other than that, it's a very simple fight, especially the second phase is quite slow. If you do feel like you're going to run out of mana, you can always swap to the other spell and just whittle him down. Roxy is such an OP spell. It's good damage, good poise damage. We'll be using it later on. If you don't necessarily need it, you can always take the medallion route. So go to the two forts, probably use it in another video when I figure out another weapon I sort of want to rush. Something fun I've found to do. Looking back at my gold skull video, planning and trying to work that out would be the most fun I have in Elden Ring. We spent my first 20 hours just doing that in the game. Yeah, it's sad that that's kind of more enjoyable than the actual game for me at this point. But anyway, it's not fun to do, and it's what we'll be doing whenever I pick up Elden Ring to the DLC. There's so much damage. The reason I chose this path was because you also get these runes to level up, so you can actually use the black knife straight away. Pretty easy to avoid. Just don't get caught on the little structures like I did there. And yeah, just swap to the Glintstone Pebble whenever you need to. You should have more than enough money if you grab the golden seed out front of the precipice ladder. God, I hate that word. Any word with like a PS sound. Anyway, he's almost done for. Too easy. Nice chunk of runes. Don't get grab the grace, always useful. Right, so next up we have to head to the Sainted Hero grave. So we're starting at this new little dot on the map. And from here we got to make our way kind of around at this plateau to get to the Sainted Hero graves here. So you just want to head down this little hill and try and follow this route I've marked. There's a waygate at the broken bridge here. You can take that across the other side and then just run around the cliff edge. You should be able to find the little tomb. You can just run past the Black Knife Assassin straight away. Open the door, you've got iframes. make your way down the lift and grab the Grace is probably the best thing to do. And now there's a few ways to deal with the Black Knife Assassin. So the AI is quite interesting. I learnt a few things just trying this. So depending on where you aggro the boss, and what I mean by aggro you'll see in a second, adds different zone out areas. So if you come down here and if you start from here, the Black Knife Assassin will actually be walking away from the grave. Interestingly, it won't reset to sitting down. If we come out now, you'll sort of see she's walked away. You can aggro her here, and if you run over to this cliffside, there's actually a safe spot. So if you stand on this little corner, the Black Knife Assassin can rarely hit you. I say rarely because there is a attack pattern that can get you. So if she lunges like that and hits the lower rock, she'll actually be able to swing at you. You can roll and dodge. There is a more patient strategy, which we'll get to in a second. You can just sort of fiddle around here if you want. It's far quicker and a lot easier because you can get in a lot more consistent attacks. But you do just have to be careful for any attacks the Black Knife Assassin throws. I highly recommend don't use any spells when it's to your right there on the cliff with you, because you might trigger the AI to attack. Other than that, it should just run to the spot right above you. Thanks to Roxling, you'll hit it. The next method we'll get into, you can use melee, and essentially we're just going to hit and run. So I found a way to sort of despawn the assassin, as well as to mess up the AI. As you can see here, I got unlucky, and in rolling away, unfortunately I fell. But yeah, so if you let the Black Knife Assassin run a bit away from the actual entrance, and then aggro her, she'll actually start to despawn once she gets into a certain range, and that range is actually triggered by this little cliffside. So if she runs to the edges next to you, as you see here, she'll back away and despawn, but she'll retain all the damage she's taken. You can also trigger this by running to the back of the entrance, or the tomb, whatever you want to call it. Running inside, depending on where you've aggroed her, won't work. And as long as you've aggroed her initially from that far point, the AI will, for whatever reason, remember that aggro zone, if you want to call it. So she will just constantly despawn. Make sure to check and be careful, because she can still hit you if she's just sort of backtracking. Usually when the music's gone is when you're safe to go. You can see she's returning to the entrance. Now, this is where I bugged her. So, for whatever reason, if she doesn't despawn and walks back to the entrance, she'll phase out. So she won't aggro, she won't hit you, but you can't hit her. The great thing about this is if you just take the elevator right down, you don't have to worry about it at all. She'll retain all the damage she's taken, and you can just resume the fight, and it makes it really easy. Now, all you gotta do is just rinse and repeat. Still damage taken. Go ahead and just aggro. And so this method will completely work with a melee weapon. You just want to hit her and run away. And you're pretty safe to just de-aggro her here now as well. If she does come inside, she should phase out, just like before. For whatever reason, her aggro range is still set as if she was at the end of her path away from the temple. Pretty interesting why they've sort of made it dynamic instead of a set position. Yeah, so you're safe to just wail on her now. Just use hit and run tactics. You can get double hits in now and then, even when you're aggroing her. Just depends how risky you want to be. You can take it nice and slow and it's pretty safe. Rock Sling's probably the best spell for this to do it as quick as possible, since it does that good chunk of damage even early on. I think my int is like 20. And there you have it. The easiest way to get the Black Knife early as possible. Thanks for watching. And of course it won't matter anyway.